Today we are making currant squares. Here I have 1.5 pounds of fruit. I have 175 grams of butter, and I have 250 grams of brown sugar. And this is my ginger and my mixed spice to put in it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add this all to the saucepan and put it on a low heat to let it all come together. We'll bring the butter and the sugar and the fruit and that just up, and we'll let it simmer till the sugar in it melts. And I'll just throw that in there with it. And that is everything now. I'm going to put this on so that it can melt, and once it starts to simmer and the greeniness has went out of the brown sugar I'm using is Tate and Lyle, but you can use any brown sugar. I'm just using that because that's exactly what I had in the cupboard. So I'll be back with you shortly once I've this sorted. Now that I have that on the stove on a low heat there, I'm going to go on ahead here. I'll just do a quick recap and then we're going to start the pastry for these currant squares. What I put in the pot there was the 250 grams of brown sugar, 175 grams of butter. I put in 1.5 pounds of fruit, and I put in the 3 heaped teaspoons of mixed spice and 1 heaped teaspoon of ginger, and that is on there at the minute. Now we shall proceed from there and we'll make this shortcrust pastry. So here in the bowl, my shortcrust pastry is half fat to flour, or is 3/4 fat to flour, sorry, and egg to bind. So I have 1 pound of flour here, and I have 12 ounces of butter, and I have the egg to bind. So I'm going to put it into the machine here. Flour, and then the butter. Now I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to cover it for a wee second here, just so it doesn't skate everywhere. There we go. Tidy up. You know, we scrape down. Should have chopped this up, that would have made it easier and quicker. Wasn't thinking. This makes a very short pastry, but it's melt in your mouth material, so it's really nice. So as you can see, that there's coming together to resemble fine breadcrumbs. Now at this point I'll stop it and I'll add in the egg. Now you know your pastry's ready whenever it starts to leave the side of the mixer. The egg's just enough to make it combine and all come together. flour. As you can see, I'll just turn this up a wee bit. And that's it ready. So we'll empty this out. And give this a neat You don't need to rest this pastry. Some people does, I don't. I just use this straight away. Never had any bother with it and it works perfectly fine. So we're going to roll this out. Let's just egg wash there and move that out of the road. We're going to roll this out and we are going to line our tin and then put it into the oven to actually bake line so that it's not raw in the middle whenever we add the other mix. So if I roll this up, I've got my tray here. Just press it into the corners. Now, you can use these other bits and fill in because it will come together whenever it's big, and it's a soft pastry. Although you don't need to do this, but this is only if you want a crust on it. So we'll bake this blind in the oven. Okay, now I had a wee quick clean down there while I set that on the stove, and it takes 15 minutes to bake this blind in the oven, and that is the way it'll turn out. Now here I have the fruit mix for the currant squares. Now I did this last night. I'd already a batch of it made because it has to sit and cool. So I have just slightly heated this to allow me to put it into the tin. And while we were off camera, I also made another batch of, I might have to take some out of this. This just might be a wee bit much for this tray, but that's alright. I'm actually going to make 2 trays of them, so I'll just give it a bit of a spoon. I'll take some out of this because there'll have to be some of this go in the other tray. Just bring this. I'm going to add a wee bit of egg wash around the edges here, and I made up another batch of that 3/4 fat to flour mix, and that's going to put the top on this, and then we're going to egg wash it and put a wee bit of sugar on it. Now you would have to cook your fruit for these the evening before. Anybody that didn't want to be bothered making this mix, just get yourself sweet mince, out of the supermarket in a jar, but the thing is, it's not as nice as this mix. You definitely would be losing out by not making it yourself, but it's probably a cheaper alternative if you want it to go that way. Now, right, in this mixer I have another batch of pastry which I made off camera. So I'll just flour the board again, and before I start here I'm going to egg wash the edges of this, and then we're going to put this in the oven, and we'll egg wash it and put a bit of sugar along the top of it, and then we'll put it in the oven and bake it. So just round the edges so as it sticks. Okay. Some of you might find pastry hard to handle, but I find it pretty good to handle. I had the butter for making that pastry in the fridge before I started, so it was only sitting out the length of time I took to actually set up the video. I'm just pushing these wee bits back together though. That'll be fine. One lifter, roll. Okay. You should be well secure at that. Got a wee knife. Okay. Now, put a bit of egg wash in this. And this is going in the oven at 180 degrees. You'll get to know your own oven. 180 works fine for me. I think that's a pretty hot oven I have. Okay. And we'll just sprinkle over some caster sugar. Now, I'm putting this in the oven and I'll be back shortly. Now, I've put the tray of fruit squares into the oven. I have it at 180 degrees. And here in this saucepan, this has been on 20 minutes at number 3 on the electric cooker or so, and once the grittiness has come out of the brown sugar, that's it ready. Now your mix will look like that. So if you leave it till it cools before you put it in on top of the pastry, remember to cook your the bottom part on your tray blind. Put a few pin or fork pricks in it. Bake it blind so as that, just to make sure that it's cooked through. So you let this cool. It's preferable to do this the evening before. Now this is gorgeous, so don't miss out on the chance to make this. And I'll be back here very shortly with you. This is just out of the oven. It has been in the oven for an hour. So we're just going to sprinkle a wee bit more sugar over the top of it. And we're going to leave it to sit here to cool. And once it's cooled, I will portion it up and let you see what it looks like, okay? And there you have it. I have them portioned now, and that's your tray of fruit squares. And just to recap one wee thing, the tray that I am using is 15 inches by 10 inches, and that's the inside of it. So, if you have a smaller tray at home, you can half that, or you can do 2 trays. That makes, I have these big trays, so that's what it takes to do these. Now this is lovely. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you very much. The recipe will be put in the box, the drop down box below the video. So enjoy, folks.